What's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. More than halfway through the week, guys. How we feeling? Getting closer and closer. What, we got Pitch Black out. Getting closer to Storm Emeralda release. What's up, Courtney? What's up, Dakota? What's going on, Crusher? Dakota, I got the shipping info today, so projecting that shipment coming in based on the tracking info. It said the 17th, so I should have it by Friday. What's up, guys? What's up, Hayden? How we doing, Bree? Welcome in, Material Man. Appreciate the likes. Welcome in, guys. Queue's open. Queue's open if you'd like to hop in. Currently no wait. Got that flash sale live at the bottom of your screen there. And as I was just mentioning, our Chinese, we got the tracking info for our Chinese product restock. It won't be here till Friday. So everything, I should have stuff up in the shop once I get the package, right? But the next time we go live with having everything in stock will be Sunday. I'll be at a concert Friday night, so I can't guarantee having everything fully updated by that evening. What's up, Adeline? Adeline. Julio, what's up, guys? Welcome in, welcome in. Get everybody rolling in. How you doing, guys? Feel free to hop in. Queue is open. Check out the flash sale pinned at the bottom of the screen there. Appreciate the likes, Lil Cammy. What's up, Rockwell? Let me know in the comments, guys, your feelings on condiments for the hot dog, right? Your favorite condiments for a hot dog. Are we relish, mustard, ketchup? Went to the Orioles game over the weekend, and they do what they call hot dog rice. Sometimes they do it with actual people running in the costumes, and then sometimes just on the video board. But the giveaways were hats for relish, mustard, and ketchup. Appreciate the likes. Crazy. Crazy pickle. Oh, that relish is pickle relish. What's up, Dakota Dunn? Not much. Not much for chilling. Yeah, actually, I can switch them over. I only had the one box left right now. I was working on getting set up with a new supplier for Japanese. Let me get switched over. There it is. Appreciate the likes, guys. All right, should just be a Minute Crusher, and the update should come through. I had to change, drop the price a little bit on the individual pack as well. So it should just be a minute before. Let's see. I'm gonna add it so that it shows up in the with the shopping bag icon. All right, so just be a minute before it updates. When they synchronize, it just takes a little time before the main shop correlates to TikTok. How we doing, guys? Anything crazy this weekend? Any fun plans? Has anybody seen? I'm asking this genuinely because I haven't honestly been trying to limit the amount of time on social media lately, other than for purposes of work. Taking the kid to a carnival tomorrow. There you go. Is it like a local carnival? Is it like the state? I think our state carnival is in September, like early September, I think. And our the local like town one, they had it really early this year. I think they had it at like the beginning of June, before kids were even out of school yet. Local town we grew up in, nice. Go every year for the main parade, do some rides. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I learned learned my lesson last year. Did some carnivals, and tried to do some of the rides. Um, I apparently can't do spinny rides anymore, which I was not aware of. So learned it the hard way. Sun gets motion sickness easy. Rides are limited and it's case by case. Yeah. It's like you need to have just enough stuff like in your stomach, and then yeah, all sorts of factors. Yeah, I never used to have a problem. I could go on, if anybody's been to Disney and done orange the orange version of Mission Space, which is a simulator type thing where they spin you around so fast to simulate the launch of a rocket as if you're launching into space. And I used to be able to do that fine. And that was super intense, and I can't even do like a scrambler thing at the carnival now without getting queasy. The last time I did one, I started to get like the cold sweats. Like 10 seconds into it, I was like, oh boy, this is not good. So I guess something is shifted in like my equilibrium or whatever, that controls that kind of stuff. Get car sick, so I just do all the driving. I'm good with most rides. There you go. Yeah, I don't have any problem in a vehicle, whether I'm passenger or driving. But man, you start spinning me around and everybody's about to have a problem, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not good. But I can do roller coasters and stuff, because after that, like a couple months after having that experience, went to Hershey Park and did the roller coasters and all that, and I was able to get through that okay. So I don't know quite exactly what it is. I think it's more the spinning effect. So it's finally tall enough for the big rides, and he went on a coaster Tuesday and got queasy. Yeah. Yeah. And who knows, he might grow out of that too. Just like I apparently have grown into having an issue with it. But I have 30 plus years of being able to do spinning rides and all that kind of stuff with no problem. And now it's dicey. And I don't know if it was from something else messing with me first, but and we went on like the swings, just the regular swings after that, and I wasn't feeling good after that. So live and you learn, I guess. All right, sorry about that, Crusher. We got you for the 8 Abyss Eye. See if I can reach it from here. Got it. All right, fresh box. Supposed to be a ride guy, yeah. I don't know if it truly helps, but maybe try, if you haven't already, like the Dramamine stuff. I think they have Dramamine for kids and all that. To be honest, that's what I'm gonna try next time I'm even going on any rides, just to see if I can prevent any type of potential motion sickness. All right, Crusher, we got you on 8 packs. Welcome in, Aaron. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go 4 from the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It makes them drowsy. Well, then you gotta get them some caffeine. You gotta give them some soda or something on top of it. Let me know when you're ready. What's up, Zach? Let me know when you're ready, Crusher. We'll get to ripping the Abyss Eye. I do plan to restock it. All right, good luck, brother. Sharkadet. Manectric on the AR right off the bat. Sick card. I don't know if we pulled this one for you yet. Always like the blues and like kind of like electricity type looks. Some comments were filtered. Interesting. They didn't give me the option to approve the comment or not that time. Just straight up filter them. Little EX with Relicanth behind it. What's up, Nimble Rift? Welcome in, guys. Queue's open. Right now we're opening some packs of Abyss Eye for Crusher. But we are open, wide open after that. Litwick, Primeape, Chandelure EX. Wow. Each pack has had a hit so far. Skarmory. I jinxed it. Palfin. Not bad. What's up, Jennifer? Welcome in, guys. Primeape. Poplio. Fossil. Oh, I forget his name. Another EX, the Dino. A head button Dino. Off the movie night. Have fun, Dakota. Darkness Hollow. Alright, couple more here. What's up, Francisco? Jinx. Vulture. Sea King. Is that Banette? Alright, last pack magic here. Bronzor. Head button. And the Thievel AR. There we go. Can't remember if we got that one for you yet either. But 2 ARs. 2 ARs. And 3 EXs. There we go. We got the Chandelure. And my clues to start studying the newer Pokemon again. Because I can't remember these guys' names. But the Thievul and a Manectric on our ARs. Oh yeah. So 5 total hits out of the 8 packs. Very nice run there, Crusher. Ready Player One, what's up? Welcome in, guys. Also, if you guys haven't seen or haven't checked yet, did drop another video on YT earlier today. It's a little shorter one. It's under 10 minutes. So. John Smith. What's good? What's up, Jay Smith? Let me see. Bombardment. What's up, Test? Ah, dang. I need pop, lock, and dropping. Don't get old, guys. Do not age if you can. What's up, Bentley? Let's see. What's up, Turtle? How we feeling, guys? What's up, Chuko? How you doing, brother? Hey, appreciate the like, Zach. What's the weather down there right now? It was 100 degrees yesterday here and 100 degrees today. Pretty good, Chugo. Can't complain, man. About to be storming. You know, I'm well enough and able to be hanging out here. You know. Doing the thing and all that good stuff, so. complain, man. I hope it doesn't storm too bad, Zach. We could actually, I feel like if you remember the stuff, it's like things that you say and you start to realize you're becoming your parents. And it's like, we need the rain, right? But for real, we really do. Like, my lawn is super dried out. My lane is, or my grass is super dried out. So, we need the rain. Seems it's just a vicious cycle, you know? It's like you hear your parents say it and you're like, I'm never gonna say stuff like that, and then you grow up and find yourself saying all the same stuff and you're like, well, if nothing else, I'll pass this down to my kids, you know, to the next generation. Yep, exactly. You'd be like, when I was growing up, it's like, oh boy. It's like hard to stop yourself too. You like know what's happening in real time, but you're like, nope, do it, say it. Space Cowboy, what's going on? Official OG. What's good, guys? If you're looking to hop in, the queue's open, so there's currently no wait. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I got the tracking information for our Chinese restock shipment, so that is going to be on its way. The next live that stuff will be up for is going to be Saturday. The estimated shipping arrival is going to be Friday. And I'm just not going to be able to do a pop-up. What's up, Melissa? Got a concert in the city on Friday night, and like I said, getting older, I'm probably going to need Saturday to recover. I know. I think I have to coach. I think I could coach a class at the gym in the morning. So I'm probably going to be hurting for that and probably just going to want to come home and sleep. So we shall see. I think I got to coach class tomorrow night too. So not a ton of free time on my hands here coming in the next few days. But we'll have it all stocked up in the shop. And like I said, the next live that it should be available in the shop will be Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, what, the 19th? What's up, Tracy? Leon, what's good, guys? Welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate y'all stopping by, checking out our live here tonight. If anything interests you, go ahead, hit that follow button, guys, so you can catch us anytime we're going live in the future. Our normal schedule is Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On occasion, we might have some unscheduled like pop-up lives here or there. You know, if we're getting new product in or you know, that kind of good stuff. Special occasions, but otherwise, typically those 4 days, 4 nights a week. And you can always place an order for sealed product. If you place an order anytime, we will still fulfill it sealed, and we ship out next business day. So, for instance, any orders shipped out or orders put in tonight will get dropped off at the post office tomorrow morning. So our goal is to get you your stuff as fast as possible. Being a collector myself and having bought, you know, online and through Rip and Ships and all that kind of stuff, I know what it's like. Especially some of the bigger ones will, they like only ship out orders like a couple times a week, and so I know what it's like to have to kind of, you put the order in, you get the anticipation of actually getting the stuff in your hands, and then you gotta wait for it to even be shipped initially, and then to get it in your hands, that kind of thing. So we try to get it to you ASAP. Try to get it to you ASAP as we continue to grow. Like right now, that's not an issue for me to be able to turn the orders around, package everything after streams. That's why we don't go too late usually. So I'll package everything up for streams and then have it ready right away in the morning so I can get it to the post office as they open. AI Dong Ding. Interesting. Lone Wolf Mando, what's up, guys? Welcome in. Hope y'all are having a good week so far. What's up, Morgan? Welcome in, everybody. If you missed it, guys, we got more content up on YT. Dropped another video this morning, so it's available up there. If you guys aren't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all the platforms. We make announcements for certain things all over the place, so if you're following us on all platforms, best chance to not miss any exciting news or offers that we might be putting out there. What's up, Jason? Not much, brother. Hanging out, chilling. How's your week going? Ready for Friday? Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Things are flying fast and furious at my work, so I kind of like keep forgetting what day of the week it is. I keep thinking it's Thursday today, because that's just wishful thinking, you know. I had a fun but busy weekend this past weekend, so I don't feel like I recovered a whole lot. So. Yeah. Yep, it was good. I mean, it was good though. It's just in the blink of an eye, the weekend passes, and then you're back into, you know, the daily 9 to 5 grind, and bounce from that. And like I said, I coach some classes at the gym I go to, so I did Monday, and then I've got to do tomorrow, and then I got to do one Saturday morning. So it's like usually I'm in for 1, maybe 2 a week, and then I got 3 this week. So it's just and I did this past Saturday too. So a lot of them this week. I'm just trying to keep everything straight in my mind. Good to be busy though, you know? Have you seen, Jason, any of the 30th anniversary stuff? Is that any of that kind of stuff pique your interest? The 30th anniversary set that'll be released in September? What's up, Kevin? Crazy. That's one that actually got filtered, Kevin. That's gonna stay filtered. I mean, physically, am I able to? Yes. Am I going to? No. Wow. And then that one gets through. That's crazy. No, I'm good. I'm good, Kevin. I'm good. Hey, no worries, Jason. You know, I just thought I'd see if you had been. I gotta choose my wording carefully and see if you had seen some of the leaks and all that going around social media. I see my algorithm's all jacked up It's got like sports stuff and then Pokemon. And then some of the most random like celebrity garbage that I have no interest in and yet continues to fill my feed. Like it had been the well, now it's gonna come up because I'm talking about it and it can listen to me, right? But the whole Taylor Swift wedding and all that kind of stuff, and it just kept, you know, it's all throughout like my Facebook feed and all that. I'm like, I could not care less. Could not. I think it's ridiculous how much of a spectacle is made of somebody else's wedding, somebody you don't know, you'll never meet, you have no actual connection to, and why people care about it. I don't understand. So maybe that's why it's in my algorithm. It's like, it's rage baiting me, you know? What's up, Silk? Appreciate the repost. How we doing? What's up, Locami? Did you change your profile picture already? Appreciate the share. I got tracking info for the Chinese shipment, Silk. There's the heart me. Appreciate you. So we'll be getting the we expect our Chinese products restocked to come in by Friday. So you know it's really fast. I mean, I got the notification today. Got the tracking info today. It'll be here about Friday, but again, it's just so the next time we'll have the stuff stocked for stream will be the Sunday stream. But if I get it during the day on Friday, I'll have it up. I'll have some stuff up in the shop, right? I'll wait and I'll verify, right, that we did get the Vaporeon binder box and all that kind of stuff, and I'll make sure that's set aside. You know, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to get that stuff in. I am getting some singles in. So I gotta see how I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna try putting them up on, because some of them, they're pretty high value singles. I think I'm gonna try to put them up on my website. You know, I'm trying to get more folks to go over there, and you know, so on top of that, it also helps me avoid having to pay a lot of fees, so I can charge a better price on there, because I don't have to pay another platform a bunch of fees, if that makes sense. So yeah, it'll be great. We'll have Gem 4, Gem 5 back in stock. VMAX Climax in stock. We'll get the Volume 1 and Volume 2 First Partners products in. We'll have the binder collections in, and then we'll have some singles. We'll have some more singles, some high value singles in Chinese. You know, some of them will be exclusives of the Chinese. I think most of them will be. There's one. We're gonna have the Bubble Mew in Chinese, so that's gonna be one that's the only one that's not exclusive. But we'll have Gengar from Gem 3, Cubone from Gem 3, Sleepy Umbi, and I think I'll have an Arcanine, the terrestrial form Arcanine. What's up, Michael? That's exclusive to the one of the Chinese simplified Chinese sets. It's one we haven't carried in stock because the price per box shot up pretty quick, and it came out. I think it came out right before Gem 3, so it was before we were even streaming. So before I was even in business. My day was good. My day was good. Busy with work, busy with all sorts of stuff. You know, the gym, all that good stuff. So, how was your day? What's up, user? It's good. There you go. Glad to hear it. You know, as good as a Wednesday can be, you know, right? I'm not sitting on a beach sipping pina coladas here, but you know. I wish I was. Alright, Crusher, we got you 6 more of Abyss Eye. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, 6. It's too hot for all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I miscounted then. No, 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I did miscount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. Yep. Let me know when you are ready, Crusher. Too hot for all that? Yeah. But I'd like to be sitting on a beach like in the Caribbean, you know, in a hammock under the shade of some palm trees or something. All right, Crusher, good luck, brother. Bronzor, Chargebug. Hey, there's the other illustration rare or art rare. I don't think we've pulled this one at all yet. On stream, that is. Very nice. It's a very floral card. What's up, Sandy? Jinx, good lord. Palafin, Electric. But it's Bud Drill, right? Something like that. Mabosstiff, right? Banette and the Dark Bell. Or is that Sableye? Can't remember which one has the evolution and which one doesn't. Foplio. Fossil. Sinistra. Evil. 2 more. Slowpoke. It's the Headbutton Pokemon. Headbutton Dino. Secret rare. Bingo. Last pack magic for you, Crusher. Lantern. Chicken. Hollow and Hollow Energy and the Delmise. All right, our hits. This cute little guy in the Field of Flowers. And the Dino Pokey. Secret rare. Let's see. Should probably be able to fit that with your other one. Appreciate you, Crusher. So out of those 2 orders, you managed to snipe all the ARs and secret rare. Now there's always a potential for a double hit. You could get gold, you could get SIR. But what, 3 EXs, 3 IR or ARs, and secret rare there. So the only packs I have left are out of that same box, so chances are there's a high probability we squeezed all the juice out of that box. Might have squeezed all the juice out of there. Again, there's always possibility there's a double hit with an SIR or a gold, but those are not guaranteed. There should still be a secret rare item in there. I know that's not real enticing. That and probably at least another 1 EX, but got most of the juice out of that one on the first 14 packs. So, like I said, I'm planning on getting more in stock, and I should be able to get some other Japanese items at a decent price from this new supplier. So might be time to put an order there. We still have some Mega Dream. I know it won't, for whatever reason, TikTok Shop won't let me, won't let it flow through in the product. I've tried to delete it and redo it and all that, and it still won't work. So we do have Mega Dream. It's just not on the TikTok Shop, if you know what I mean. Then we got Mega Brave. Still got some Ninja Spinner here, and Nihil Zero in Japanese. Plenty of Nihil. So I might do a little bit more Abyss Eye. I gotta figure out what else. I feel like some of the attention's gonna come off of Abyss Eye because you got Pitch Black out now in English, so the English version set is out. And then you're gonna have Storm Emeralda. So I gotta see if this new supplier is gonna do some, they're gonna do pre-sales or anything like that. Appreciate the likes, so. Appreciate the dolphin silk. Appreciate it. Yes, Crusher. The we're getting 20 boxes each of Gem 4 and Gem 5. So Gem 4, Gem 5, we will be restocking. Just at the time, I hadn't put in an order for Gem 2. I don't know what the demand is right now. At the price that they're charging, but still can't. I don't think anybody's got access to any Gem 3 product. But yeah, Gem 4 and Gem 5 to start working. My payroll's in. You're gonna be sick of me. Hey, I'll gladly be sick of you, Silk. Gladly. Nah, we won't be sick of you. We appreciate all of our regulars. And y'all don't have to buy anything. We appreciate you. Like I said, tuning in, the engagement with comments and all that kind of stuff, the likes, shares, all that good stuff helps us out. So there's a lot of things that helps us without having to spend anything. So helps a lot when, you know, we have stuff going on in the chat and that kind of thing while people are like rolling through. You know, that gets people more likely to you know, to stop, pause for a second and kind of check it out, listen to what's going on, maybe, you know, maybe check out the shop, or at least just hang out and see what the vibes are like. And so we appreciate you guys, and we all, you know, keep it positive, keep it a good environment for people to be able to hang out and talk about the hobby and that kind of stuff. So of course we can always talk about other stuff like pulp culture, anything really. In case you guys haven't figured out, I can yap. So, and that's kind of part of the job description here. I got to be able to talk and engage with you guys. So we appreciate that. The hardest, I'll say, like the hardest streams are the ones where there's just not a lot of interaction going on, even if, regardless of whether people are hopping in the queue or not. You know, if nobody's saying anything and it's kind of like radio silence, it's hard to get through for on my end, but then it's also difficult to like draw interest from people, you know, that are just scrolling through like their FYPs and all that. My plans, Crusher, I got going to a concert Friday night down in Baltimore City. I got to coach a class. I didn't think about this when I told them my availability for this month, but I got to coach a class, I think, right in the morning on Saturday. So I'll be rushing to get home so I can get to bed and wake up and coach the class. I don't think anything else. But yeah, I'm glad to have something like planned on Friday, and then having Saturday and Sunday to kind of like recover / hang out. Because been pretty busy. It's pretty busy, I think, this past Friday. Or this past weekend. Yeah. Not the recover? Yeah. I'm like from the work week right now. Like I don't usually get like this, but I'm sometimes in the past, right? In my younger days when I would push the limits on getting good sleep and all that kind of stuff, I would crash Thursday nights. Like I would come home, take it off from the gym or whatever, and then I'd nap Thursdays after work. I haven't done that in a very long time. I can't do it tomorrow because I gotta coach a class. I gotta coach the class at the gym tomorrow as well. So, yeah, this week, and then just like work has been busier this week. It's a busy time for my 9 to 5. And we're under some, a little tighter deadlines were imposed, so we had to shift some priorities around, and yeah, it's been go, go, go. Naps are great. Naps are great. I haven't had a real good one in a while, but I'm probably going to be taking one Saturday. What about you, Crusher? You doing anything fun? Any big plans? Do you get to go to the beach a lot? Are you close? I mean, I guess technically you're close. Just don't know how close. Well, look what the cat dragged in. Oh, a few miles? Yeah, there you go. I don't know if that would be good or bad for me. Like, I enjoy the beach, but I feel like if I was that close to the beach, I feel like I'd probably neglect some of my other responsibilities to just go sit on the beach, you know? I mean, I'm sure it's super crowded, like it's super big tourist time right now, but I'd probably be skipping the beat or skipping the gym and head to the beach. Down more in the off season. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, especially like if you're there on a regular basis, right? You know, I can only imagine the beaches have to be packed. I've been fortunate that my recent experiences with beaches, it has not been super crowded. I was down in the Outer Banks the week of Memorial Day, and it uh, wasn't very crowded yet because most kids weren't out of school, right? So I hadn't hit full tilt on the touristy time. Not that it's a big tourist area anyway. It's not very commercialized, which is nice. But I mean, Myrtle Beach was crowded. I was down there in October for a friend's bachelor party, and you know that's still technically off season. The beach wasn't crowded. You know, we went swimming a couple times, stayed at a place right on the water. But everything else was still super, you know, there's still traffic. There's still, you know, there's no shortage of people. I guess I'll put it that way. But not as many people as I would expect maybe on the beaches. Had to get some stuff taken care of with Mama. Oh, I'm sure that was delightful. Oh, excuse me. One thing after another, yeah, I'm sure. Rest this weekend, maybe go see the Odyssey. Very nice. I'm very intrigued by the Odyssey in both good and negative ways. You know, it seems that the sentiment around the film is split. It's split. You know. There's a lot of stuff talking about how like great the cinematography and all that kind of stuff is of it. Of course, there's some controversy, I guess, over the casting, and I think one of the big things was kind of like the dialogue. People were saying that some of the disappointment was that the dialogue seemed too modernized. You know, for something that's supposed to be, you know, an ancient Greek mythology type deal. So, I really do. I like Greek and the Roman mythology, all that kind of stuff. I really do enjoy that. I kind of got forced into taking a mythology class in high school and became really interested in it. Cheated off your friend and never read it. Unbelievable. You hear that, chat? My mom is condoning cheating. Unbelievable. This is news to me, and frankly, I am shocked and appalled. Although, you did come by it honestly that you weren't a great student. So, there's that. I always wonder if that's like, if things just changed. A great student from cheating, yeah. Because, like, my parents describe themselves as, like, average students. And I'm not saying I was above average by any means, but I think my grades were better than theirs were. And so, to me, I wonder, it's like, is my generation, or was I actually smarter, or is school easier? Like, have they made it easier for us to get better grades? Because I didn't actually start working hard until I got to college. high school, I was not motivated. Like, I got good grades, but I was not over here trying to take AP classes and all that. I took honors classes and all that. I did not try AP and all that. You hear that, chat? Unbelievable. She wants to take my accomplishments away from me. Although, to be fair, like I said, high school, I was fine. I was never in jeopardy of failing a class. I don't think I ever got a C in any classes. All A's and B's, but I didn't try very hard, I'll be honest. I was kind of at that point of sort of feeling burnt out from having, being forced to do the school day in and day out, and all the other stuff that went with, being a teenager and all that. Yeah, high school diploma doesn't do as much as it used to, that's for sure. But I think also, like you said, I think they've made it so much easier now that, again, a high school diploma really doesn't mean much. I think it's been a little, I don't know. No knock to anybody, graduating high school is still an accomplishment. Like, staying in school, especially depending on, circumstances and environments you grow up in, it's not necessarily easy. But, I don't know that the school systems nowadays can really impose as much accountability anymore. I think they're too incentivized to keep the train rolling, if you know what I mean, and just kind of keep people moving through. And most jobs just will not, the requirements are higher than a high school diploma. But like you said, if you graduated back in the late 70s or early 80s, graduating with a high school diploma, that could still get you in the door a lot of places. It does not anymore. But I don't think a college degree is really indicative of anything either these days. It's a good accomplishment, don't get me wrong. Like, you got to commit and you actually have to apply yourself. But I mean, like, it's so much more common that the requirements have continue to be increased. You got these jobs where, like, it's an entry level position, but they want several years of experience and a master's degree or something. And I'm like, why? You do better off, like, bring the person in out of high school, like, give them an internship or something like that, and teach them the ropes, and they'll be better off there and like, if they did some, like, continuing education, not even making you get a degree, but some what I would call, like, structured learning as opposed to just your job. But I think a lot of jobs with enough an unpaid internship, that's true. But, well, I would say, like, if you're bringing somebody in and calling an internship and they don't have a college degree, or they're not necessarily in college yet, I mean, shoot, pay them. I mean, depending on what your minimum wage is around there, pay them $12, $15 an hour to do office work or whatever it might be, and learn the business from the ground up. I think some of us uh, we put a lot of stock in a college degree, um, but each job is unique, so you're going to have to learn things specific to that job that you've never come across in a textbook in college. I think a lot of jobs, and especially like tech wise, like um, if you're technologically inclined, what's up, Irvin? And like IT type stuff and all that really makes sense to you. I mean, really, just getting like professional certifications are the most um, valuable for that. Like going to school, a lot of these guys that end up running these massive tech businesses might have gone to college or started to go to college, but they didn't finish a degree. Now, they were very intelligent to be able to, do the technical type work and all that, but college degrees don't mean that you're automatically super competent in a particular job because they are very unique. Like if you go to work for the government, man, the way they do stuff is so different than anybody else, and they have layers and layers and layers of red tape to make sure everything's got like a check and balance kind of thing, and that's why it all takes so long. And so you got to learn all those processes, and you don't learn that in school. You can't learn it in school. I mean, they don't really teach that. Shouldn't let my grandfather talk me out of going to school for mechanics. Yeah. Yeah, I think especially with the way the economy is currently, trade schools I think are highly undervalued. I think we had a huge shift from like people graduating in the early 80s going into trade schools and all that kind of stuff, and now, a lot of them are getting to the point where it's retirement age, or maybe they did a trade and they worked for somebody else and then started their own business, and then now they're either passing the business down or looking to sell it or whatever. But I mean, finding people that are really good in the trades, like electrical, plumbing, all that kind of stuff, people that are actually trustworthy and not, not out just trying to sell you stuff that you probably don't necessarily need, which I think a lot of commercial companies kind of end up doing. They're hard to find. HVAC. And that's all stuff AI is not going to replace. AI is not going to come into my house and fix my plumbing if I got a leak. It's not going to fix my electricity. It might be able to tell me if I Google, like, hey, this just happened. Or, what might have been the cause, but it's not going to fix it. AI can't fix anything in your house, put it that way. It might help walk you step by step through a little bit of DIY stuff, but other than that, like, it's not going to fix my leaky pipes. It's not going to fix my electric panel. It's not going to be able to install, electricity into my detached garage. It's not going to be able to fix my air conditioning or replace my water heater, any of that. It's not going to renovate my kitchen. Yep. There's YouTube's videos for that? Exactly. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit I use YouTube all the time to figure out stuff. If I know people that are in the trades, sometimes I'll ask them questions. I'll be like, hey, I've been noticing this going on. Like, do you know what might be causing it? And is it something that I can kind of troubleshoot, or is that something I need to actually call a tech for? Or like, Like I said, if I know somebody in the trade, then obviously I would have them. Well, I'm not gonna YT electrical work. I mean, I'm not messing with electrical stuff. I know better than that. But there's other things that certainly you got. I YouTube stuff like smaller stuff for my vehicles, right? When I figured out that the drains for my sunroof were clogged and essentially backing up and leaking into the rest of the vehicle. Don't touch the red wire. Should be good, right? Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I gotta look up when I've had to like jump start cars before. Like I looked that up multiple times to make sure I'm doing it right. I do it so infrequently I can't remember it off the top of my head, so I gotta YouTube it every time. But doing stuff like that, or maybe like replacing headlights or bulbs, taillight bulbs in your car. Not all of them are super straightforward. You know, not all vehicles are real easy to access. You know, you got to figure out what bulb it should take and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't mess around with electrical. If there's a high probability of me hurting myself, I get somebody else to do it. In plumbing, no. I'm not trying to bust a pipe on my own and make things worse. What else? I've done, yeah, some stuff like working on the car. I figured out how to unclog the drain channels for the sunroof. Replacing bulbs, headlights, yada yada, that kind of stuff. Fixed a lot of people would try to do on watching YouTube. Exactly. You see that, or like if you get somebody who says they do electrical work, but maybe they're more of like the handyman, right? They're not truly a fully trained electrician. You usually end up getting stuff that's not up to code, right? And you kind of get what you pay for. Maybe it works for a while and then kind of craps out. So, yeah, I don't mess around with electrical stuff at all. One of the things too that I go off of is like I'll talk to one of my buddies who does. He doesn't do like the electrical stuff, but he's done a lot of DIY, like fixing up his basement. He built his own bar. You know, he's done like epoxy work on that kind of stuff. You know, he put up drywall. I don't know that he did the finishing of the drywall himself, but he did the drywall. He framed it out, all that kind of stuff. And I put it this way, it's like if I talk to him about it and if he wouldn't do it himself, then I know for sure that I shouldn't do it myself. So that's kind of my threshold, and it's like if he says it's like, yeah, I've done that, but it's like a super pain in the ass, then I'm like, all right, I'm not. I'll find somebody to do it then. My biggest thing is just trying to make sure like I'm not making something out that could be like a $30 fix or something, and make it into something more than that, and end up bringing somebody else in and it costing me hundreds of dollars instead. You know, I'm still a first time homeowner. You know, a lot of these things that pop up, I haven't encountered, despite having been here for quite a while. Appreciate the likes. So we're crushing it, over 8K. I bought my first house. YT taught me a lot on how to remodel. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, or at least even like maybe you find some things and you're like, all right, eventually one day, like I really want to fix this up and do like a full on renovation or that kind of thing. It's like, but it can give you some tips of how to modify things for the time being to either make something more livable or, you know, make it at least more aesthetically pleasing than maybe how the previous owners left it, that kind of thing. It can help with those types of things. I've seen there's I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's a big, I don't know, I guess he's TikTok and everything else, but gosh, I forget what it's called, the official one, but it's a dad giving essentially dad advice. So showing, you know, a bunch of things like around the house, like weatherproofing your house as far as like the changing of the seasons, doing stuff like changing your own oil, you know, changing a car, all that, or changing a tire on a car, doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, he's gone into some projects that he's done around his own home, but he did it because, you know, his daughter, you know, was growing up and getting to that age of like, you know, Dad, how do I do this and how do I do that, and gave him the idea of like, hey, you should do this, you know, you should do a video. Actually, the patching the drywall was one of the most recent things I saw from him. And I think maybe to me it's like just having to do it first, like have the actual hands-on experience, maybe make a mistake or whatever, and then still learn how to fix it and that kind of thing, and then grow the confidence that way. But a lot of things, even if they're very small, seem very daunting to me. Like I'm very afraid of messing it up. I think I could do. I think I could do a little bit, a smaller patch of drywall based on watching the stuff, get an idea for it. But I'll be the first to say it. Like when I don't know how to do something, when I'm not super confident in it, I'm very timid with it. So I'm not just like a dive in, grab the bull by the horns, especially like handiwork type stuff like that. I'm not super confident in my abilities with that, so I'm very apprehensive about doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. finishing drywall is tough. I know my buddy, like I said, I think he had somebody do it for him. Like he put the drywall up. Like I said, he framed everything out, put the drywall up, you know, cut the drywall and all that kind of stuff. I don't think he finished it. He put the drywall up on the ceiling too. Him and a couple of buddies helped him and did all that, but I don't think he finished the drywall. So yeah, well, I could probably do a lot more, like if I had hung out around Uncle Kevin more. That's why sometimes, I mean, you know, how difficult it is to get a hold of Matthew. But sometimes I'll ask him, you know, if I'm looking at something around the house, and if Matthew doesn't know how to do it, and I know sometimes Matthew will oversimplify things, but if Matthew doesn't know how to do it, then I'm like, all right, maybe I need to go with actually paying somebody. Not saying that, by that I'm saying is like Matthew has limited knowledge, but I know he's helped out with doing stuff like that for buddies who are, you know, electricians and in the trades and that kind of stuff. And then obviously Uncle Kevin being in, you know, into masonry and understanding, having a good idea of everything. What's up, Toothless? How you doing? Only hired out 2 things when I remodeled my house: finishing drywall and installing a new roof. Yeah, I'm never gonna touch doing a roof. Like, I'm gonna try to make sure I find somebody that's got, you know, obviously really good reviews and yeah. But yeah, I put it this way, like if Matthew hasn't at least come across it and Matthew hasn't attempted it, then I'm like, all right, I should probably, because I think we all know Matthew might be a little bit more confident than maybe he should in some cases. So if he hasn't even tried some of that stuff, like I said, that's a good baseline for figuring out whether it's reasonable for me to think I can do it or not. All right, Toothless, we got you hopping in here. We got you on a pack of Korean Inferno X. Are we doing it sealed or are we open it? Are we ripping for you, Toothless? Rip it. All right. Packing a dream. Packing a dream, chat. Here we go. Good luck, good luck. We got Yamper, Lotad, Carvana, Mamoswine, and the Genesect Hollow. I'm gonna throw in this Metachan V for you. It's out of Korean Blue Sky, I think it is. It's the one where the Rayquaza, it's the Korean version where you can get the Rayquaza VMAX. So it came out the same time as EV Heroes. So. Appreciate you, Toothless. How you been, Toothless? I don't know if you're still here in the chat with us. Never done a Korean master set? After you finish Inferno X. Are you doing... You're in the middle of doing Inferno X Japanese? Yep. Are you just like opening packs, or are you looking for boxes or anything like that? Almost done it? Or are you working on doing like the are we doing singles? Oh, I asked if you were doing, are you doing it like, are you trying to master it by doing like just a couple packs at a time, or are you doing, are you looking for like boxes of it? Because I know it can be hard to find boxes and actually at decent price. Did both? Gotcha. Yeah, I know the I think the Japanese boxes have come back down to somewhat more reasonable levels. Huh. Crazy. Now I remember. It's like I came here for a specific reason. What's my favorite set to rip? So, I mean, my favorite set, when I was chasing, so I was chasing this for a little bit, the Suicune out of, oh goodness, Crown Zenith. I really enjoyed that set just because, I mean, you got a lot of hits with the Trainer Gallery and Galarian Gallery and all that. For a while the meta was like the tins, getting the tins, and so I was finding some decent prices of you know, and this is sign of the times, decent prices on the Crown Zenith tins, like the full displays of those for like maybe $80, right? And in that you get 10 tins per display, so that's $8 a tin. Like, think about that. Nowadays, like, we would be so happy most of the time to be able to get a tin for $12, which is around MSRP, right? We would love to get a tin of the popular sets for like $12. Um, Otherwise, so Crown Zenith. I mean, I liked opening Korean 151. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed when it was still affordable for me. Like, I ripped a ton of both English and Japanese 151. I did enjoy opening that. I opened a full sealed case of 151. Which was a lot of fun. I ended up with a God pack out of it. I think I ended up with like out of the case. So a case of that was 12 boxes, and I ended up with 5 SARs, I think, because 2 of them came in the God pack. I think that it was 4 or 5 SARs. So it was a really good. I haven't opened any Pitch Black yet. No. Nope. What about you, Silk? What's been your favorite sets? Yeah, no Pitch Black yet. I mean, I'm sure I could reach out and probably get some from my business-to-business connection on some English product. I can kick the tires and see how much they're going to be per pack, how much he would sell them per pack. Problem is, I still got a bunch of English product I'm still sitting here on. Chinese Gem 2 before it got too expensive, but right now I'm liking Brilliant Stars when I can get some. Nice. Yeah, I ripped some Brilliant Stars. I don't think I've ever done a full booster box. I never did an ETB of it. When I was initially got back into collecting, you could find Brilliant Stars at kind of like randomly at like Targets and that kind of stuff in the sleeve booster packs. Man, you could find them at places like what's it, Barnes and Noble, bookstores. I came across some there. I remember getting a bunch from there. Five Below had them for like 4 and change. Yeah, the gem sets are pretty nice. I like. The only thing is I wasn't a huge fan of the Gem 4 just because they changed it so there's only one exclusive art, you know. And I think that's a huge indicator that they did one exclusive and then the price per box of Gem 4 is very low compared to all the other gems. Like even Gem 5 came out, and I get it, the Pikachu, right? Captain Pikachu. Anytime you have Pikachu as one of the main hits, that's going to drive the value up, but the value has not dropped. Like, you know how sets usually will come out, they're hyped, so they stay at a certain price, and then they essentially get a huge flooding of restock, and so the price drops. That's what happened with Gem 4, and the price really hasn't gone up that much. It's maybe fluctuated a couple dollars a box here and there. Gem 5, you got more people chasing because of the Captain Pika, but you still have 4 total exclusive art rares in it. You know, you still have the Paldean starters evolution line going through it. So you have those as potential exclusive pools. Gem 3, I think, might have been the best across the board, just because there's so many. I think that so many good artworks, and oh man, the demand for the bigger hits, the Cubone particularly. I mean, the Cubone, what market value's got to be over $300 at this point, right? But the Cubone not only came up to and surpassed the Umbreon in the Sleepy Umbreon out of Gem 2. Now, it's not at the level that Captain Pikachu from Gem 1 is. That one, you know, skyrocketed. And then now it's hard to find any Gem 1. It's not in print. It's still in some of those like ancillary products where you can get like 1 pack of Gem 1, 2, and 3 in a promo and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Crusher, you let me know, man, if you ever decide to go in for the single and you want to find somebody that you trust. I have some copies that I'm going to be looking to sell of the Gengar. I should be getting in the Cubone, a couple copies of the Cubone as well. So, have the Leafeon and the Umbreon from Gem 2. Just need the other ones, yeah. Yeah, and the Sylveon, I think, is the second highest valued in that set right now. I don't know where I haven't looked at market price on some of the Chinese exclusive singles recently. I'm gonna have an Umbreon that will be available as well. Again, you know, on those, because market prices all fluctuate, so you know, I don't know what the pricing will be for it necessarily, but yeah. Adapt again. What's up, guys? So yeah, I'll be getting some singles in on this Chinese order that's coming in. So obviously I need to verify everything comes in, looking like it's in good shape and all that good stuff. So if you prefer, I can reach out to my guy Silk if you prefer to just buy the singles on the Eevee and the Sylveon. If you're looking for that to round out the master set of it, let me know. Probably work something out. See if my supplier can get a hold of some copies of those. They weren't astronomical the last time I looked, but like I said, I haven't looked in a while. And then I'd have to double check because sometimes they're not as quick to update their sheets. Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, those aren't astronomical like the Umbreon. The Umbreon's super high cost. It's at least the last time it was 3 times the cost of Sylveon, which was the second highest of those exclusives. So they're more reasonable. And that way you don't have to like keep trying to go box after box if that's something you're interested in. Like I said, I know everybody collects differently and people, you know, want to pull some of the big hits and that kind of thing. I totally get it. I'm the same way. excuse me, the way I kind of do it though to try to check myself is like back when stuff was more available before nowadays, right? Where you have to pay over MSRP right off the bat and you'll never get back down to it, seemingly. Um, I would get like one box. I get like an ETB and one booster box. See if I pull like if I pulled any SIRs, I would try to pull at least one SIR and then stop ripping packs. And if I hadn't pulled a card that I was chasing, then I would buy the single. Because usually at that point, buying the single was pretty close to having to buy another full-on booster box, which I'd rather just buy the single and buy a full booster box and more than likely not get the card I'm chasing, you know? Umbreon was my first Pokemon box / purchase I made in the hobby. There you go. That's super lucky. That's aged very well. That card has done very, very well. And it, I mean, surprisingly, until recently, when the Gem 2 sets had gone up in cost, until then, it actually stayed at a really reasonable cost or a reasonable market value. But since the costs of those have gone up quite a bit, that one took off. The other ones aren't crazy expensive, but at least the last time I looked. So, very reasonable. You're confused when people hyping in chat. You're like, okay, you know, it's a cool card, yeah. All right. Thought Gem 2 was just a cute set to go for, yeah. I think it's really cool the way they did it too, because you have the evolutions and then they did several different variations, right? You had like I think like 3 different artworks for each evolution. You know, you had some you could pull it in the Master Ball, the common form, the stamped version. So it made it like very collectible. And especially if you liked a particular evolution, you know, it made it collectible from the standpoint of, okay, I want that one in each version of it. So, you know, incentivize people to continue buying more to kind of at least complete a small subset for their favorite EVs. But I was a little surprised. Like Gen 3 is different because they didn't do a bunch of different artworks. They kept the same idea, but instead of Vs, they did EXs. They did the stamp cards as well. And then they went with more exclusives, right? I think the Chandelure, Ceruledge, Meowth, Cubone, and Haunter were all exclusives. So it was at least 5 exclusives there. And it crossed a broad spectrum of fandom, right? You had Cubone, which, yes, they're all kind of the ghost type and sort of a melancholy feel, you know, it themed around kind of Halloween and that sort of thing. But Cubone had the cuteness factor. Haunter or Gengar had the Gengar fandom thing. The Meowth has a big fandom in and of itself. The Ceruledge is a very cool card. The Chandelure is unique. Some people do. There's like a small subset of the Pokemon community that really does enjoy Chandelure. Believe it or not. And I saw some of that come out in like comment sections of posts about Abyss Eye because it has the Mega Chandelure as an SAR. So even though, you know, it's not necessarily the most valuable card of the exclusives in the set, the fact they gave it an exclusive is pretty cool, and obviously makes it collectible from that standpoint. So, you know, it kind of incentivized people to continue going in and being repeat buyers. Gem 4, I mean, just so difficult to pull the Ponyta. very difficult to pull it, but because there's a lot of value behind it because it's the only exclusive in that set and it's so hard to pull. But I feel like they also expanded how many different ARs there were compared to Gem 3. Like Gem 3 I think had what, maybe 10 different ones you could pull. It was what, Mimikyu, Morpeko, Misdreavus, Houndstone, or no, Grevard, not Houndstone. Grevard. Yeah, Mimikyu. What was it? Mimikyu. Lost my train of thought. Mimikyu, Grevard, Misdreavus, Morpeko. Then you had the exclusives. You had Cubone, Gengar, Meowth, Ceruledge, Chandelure. So there were at least 9. There were at least 9 art rares. So it was a small set from that standpoint. But it had more exclusives. So theoretically, you had a better chance at pulling an exclusive. Then they moved to Gem 4, and then they have like 20 illustration rares possible to pull and just one exclusive. And the Eevee one that's included is cool. I think it's what, from Crimson Haze in the Japanese set, Twilight Masquerade of English. But it's just so tough. I mean, I think the market value of it exceeds the cost of a box now of that secondary hit. But other than that, it's just like you're opening Gem 4 to try to pull the Ponyta. Like, that's the only card that is kind of prohibitive to buy as a single. I believe I have some Crusher. I'd have to look through. If you're looking for certain sets, let me know and I can try to check. Or if you're looking for specific cards from them too, I can give a look. I don't have a ton of. I mean, I've got a good amount of bulk, but I don't know how much of it's from the gem sets because a lot of people have been like mastering those sets, so they have included bulk in those. I got a lot of Japanese bulk. And yeah, the Chandelure on the Abyss Eye Secret Rare is pretty cool for sure. It is very cool artwork. The Ponyta does not want to be found. Yeah, it's true. But I would feel like when you do, if you do only one exclusive, wouldn't you would think that maybe the pull rate should be higher? You know, I don't know. Because if you only have one exclusive to offer and everything else is a reprint, like, it's kind of hard to generate interest in the set if there's only one exclusive art rare to chase, kind of thing. That's my perspective. That's how I think about it. So, you know, you never know. I don't know how they decide which sets get certain amounts of exclusives, and then, you know, they go from Gem 3 to Gem 3 being a pretty popular set, because even when that came out, that still most of the time was hovering in like the mid to high 50s up into the 60s, even when it was plentiful in supply. And then it started to shoot up like right towards the end when all of a sudden supply ran out like that. It was just one day I was putting it in an order to try to restock it. gone up quite a bit per box, and then the supplier comes back and says, "Oh, sorry, we just sold out of it. We don't have any more, and we don't know if we're getting any more." And I was like, man. So unfortunately, I do not think I'll be getting any more Gem 3 in, unless they do a reprint, which I have yet to figure out the true cadence of Chinese sets, other than like right now they're like almost every month and a half they're releasing a new set in simplified Chinese in order to catch up. Once they actually catch up to like the Mega era and everything, I don't know what they're gonna do as far as printing goes. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're gonna mimic the Japanese sets and then just print a ton of them, or if they're gonna start to like space out the releases more. The actually this week they're coming out with the Chasing Glory set, right? The partial Glory of Team Rocket set with the exclusive SAR Brock. They've been doing a lot of these the trainer exclusive rares in like their normal set releases, their non-gem sets. They typically do one card that's one exclusive that's a variation of an already existing card. You haven't heard about it? So I've mentioned it a little bit here and there on streams, like when it first got announced a few weeks ago. And I was just like, man, they're coming out with another one already? Because they had just dropped Grand Gathering. I was like, man, they're dropping that and then releasing another set right behind it within like a month and a week, less than a month and a half. If I get that set in, I'm going to I'd get it in the jumbo sets, just because the pull rates, right? Your pull rates are much better. You're guaranteed at least like an EX usually per pack, and the 6 packs you usually get about 3 EXs. Typically you still get an SR, chance to get an SAR, an art rare, and then I guess they would still have ace specs in it. So I think it loosely translates to Chasing Glory. Some have referred to it as Chasing Glory Together because it has a lot of cards from Journey Together, but then it has a bunch of cards from Destined Rivals, but really more so Glory of Team Rocket. So the Glory, Chasing Glory, and then somebody added in Together for like the Journey Together. I don't believe like the Ho-Oh, like Ethan's Ho-Oh I don't believe that's in it. I think the Team Rocket's Mewtwo is in it. You've got the exclusive Brock. And the rest of the set hadn't been released yet. So if you check out Chasing Glory, Suspend 30th, Delta Rain, Pitch Black, and Terrestrial. Yeah. So yeah, that one's going to come in under the radar. I'm wondering... So like I'm hesitant to order right off the bat because typically prices are higher. I'm wondering if that one gets kind of overshadowed by the 30th anniversary stuff and all that. So maybe I can get some of that product for a little bit more reasonable price. Some of them don't move as much. Like the Brilliant Illusions hasn't moved a ton since I reordered it most recently. It moved pretty quick the first couple iterations. The last one's lasted a bit. It's a fun set, but I don't think as many people are like, people are really aware of the gem sets, right? The simplified Chinese, most people, if they're more of a casual collector, they're at least aware of the gem sets. The sets in between, where simplified Chinese product is trying to catch up to the rest of Pokemon, where they're kind of like, mashing some of the sets together. So the Brilliant Illusions, the Stellar Crystal, the um, Blade Awakening is older, but the Blade Awakenings, all that, where it's like a mashup or an amalgamation of a couple. I think they get really overshadowed. They are a much better alternative, a much more from a cost standpoint, right? If you're a collector, but yeah, Pitch Black's coming out in 2 days. The PR on this set is nothing compared to Trestle. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like a bunch of people, I've had a few people ask me, like, did it come out yet, or is it out? And I'm like, I don't think it's technically been released yet. I think it's still in pre-release, but it's not new to see people get a access to a ton of product on pre-release. And I don't think that's a mistake right now. Like with Chaos Rising, I saw somebody trying to sell hundreds of packs of it. Like the minimum order quantity was like several hundred packs, and I'm sure they had thousands of packs to sell. But they were selling it pre-release, like well within the pre-release time period. It was coming, like they were selling that like 3 weeks before Chaos Rising was getting released officially. So I think Pokemon might have, or distributors might have, tried to hype it up and try to be like, hey, I can get you some Pitch Black on pre-release. It'll cost a little bit extra, but you can be one of the first people to get your hands on it, and then that way it creates some hype. Yeah, local shop dropped Pitch Black on Monday. Yep. Yeah, because some of the LGSs, they will get access, especially if they host Pokemon events. Particularly, they offer like as part of the fee for entering those events. They do pre-release events specifically for the release of sets, and they'll get a lot of like build-in battles. And some of them will have rules, some of them won't, as far as it's like, okay, well, what we're doing for the pre-release event here is, with your fee, you get one build-in battle, and I don't know, sometimes they'll throw in some other stuff specific to the shop, but maybe they're doing like some snacks or something, or a drink and that kind of thing. But you get access to the build-in battle, which usually comes with 4 packs in a pre-constructed deck, and then you use just those cards you get from that to play. And they sold everything at MSRP. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly, I think that's the play with Pitch Black right now. I don't know, and depending on how much they're getting, I don't see it being a set that can command a higher price. Especially with what I'm seeing from my end of like what product has been moving in the last couple weeks, especially since they've released the info, like the GameStop pricing, the pre-sale pricing for 30th anniversary items. I think once that came out, a lot of people in the collector community was like, all right, man, we're looking at like 3 times MSRP right off the bat. Like, I really want to get my hands on that set and be able to buy as much as I can. So I'm going to save my collection or my collecting dollars, and I'm going to wait for the 30th to come out. Because if you could get an ETB, let's say like Chaos Rising or something, or Perfect Order, and find that relatively easy on shelves for like, maybe you get it for MSRP with Perfect Order, and Chaos Rising, maybe you find it for like $60 or whatever. Now that people see 30th anniversary on the horizon, And if they're inclined to collect Japanese, Storm Emeralda, because that one's coming out at the end of the month, and it will be the last set release before the 30th anniversary. That one, they've tried to charge a whole lot of money on pre-sale. I'm not buying it. I think I'm not buying those high prices. I do plan to stock it eventually, but I just think the high prices, I think it's overhyped in terms of FOMO. I think people are going to completely overlook it for the 30th anniversary set since it's coming out internationally, like Japan, US, English, everything on the same date. So, and the price in Japanese is not going to be any better. And I think people see that, and so they're being more conservative. So I don't see a set like, and it wasn't really going to be time for English to release Delta Rain before it. So, which I think is a good thing, because Delta Rain getting released after would probably do better. It'll be a set released right before the holidays. I think in November in English. Yeah. If you're able to get the 30th Umbreon UPC at a decent price, let me know. Are we talking the English one? So, because right now I don't. That's the thing, is like, it's got a lot of hype. There's a huge amount of demand, but there's also a lot of uncertainty about how much Pokemon has actually printed. There's a lot of uncertainty because initial allocations are always one thing, and businesses take that as an indicator of like, oh, like, if my normal allocation has been this, and then now I'm saying I'm all in, give me as many of these as you can, and then they're like, yeah, we're only gonna be able to send you 5 of those. Like, we just have, there's super high demand. This is the amount that we're pretty much guaranteed to get, so we're trying to spread it out amongst all of our accounts. Yeah, the ridiculous $600 one, yeah. Well, I think let's call it, GameStop dropped their price on that to like $400, didn't they? The pre-sale price, which I was shocked. And then they dropped the ETB from 150 down to 100. I couldn't believe the price went down. I was like, oh. That got me kind of speculating, okay, well, maybe if they've decided to drop that, either one, they couldn't sell it at that price. However, from what I was seeing on like social media and around the community, was that like people were eagerly hopping at paying $150 in ETB, which is crazy. Because like people were like already assuming it's like, hey, I'd rather pre-sale, guarantee myself an ETB at 150 as opposed to not getting it then and then having it just continue to skyrocket or continue to just trend upward until it's like $200 even just like a month after release, and then you're like, well, I'm definitely not paying $200 for it now. And then GameStop goes in and lowers the price. Like, could you imagine? I wonder if, I don't know how their policies work with the pre-sale, but I don't know if you pre-sale or reserved and you had to pay half up front, I think, to reserve it, and then pay the rest of the other half when you pick up. If you reserved 1 or 2, right? Because I think the max quantity was 2. Whichever. If you reserved one at selling $150 a piece, and they lowered the price to 100, do you only have to pay the difference to the 100, or are you still locked in at that $150 price? Because I could see being locked in at the $150 price. At least, like, if I pre-sale, if I reserve product by putting money down on a pre-sale with a Japanese supplier, they're not changing, like, even if the price goes down like right after release or whatever, that's not going to be refunded back to me or credited or anything like that. Like, it's going to be so sad, too bad, you paid twice what the market value is now, we're selling it for much cheaper now, too bad, so sad. So that would suck if they're locked in, for sure. Like I said, I don't know if that's how it works, but it would, because these aren't like big time corporations. You know, I'm working with Japanese sellers, and you know, they're using that money, the pre-sale money, as a way to secure product for themselves. So it's hard. It's a tough game out there. You know, you get closer, because if I lock down pre-sale a couple weeks ago, and then we get to like a week out, and they determine, all right, maybe the demand for this stuff isn't as high, and then they drop their prices. You know, Joe Schmo, who already reserved 100 boxes at $200 a box, is already paid that. Like, you're required on their end, like, they're not reserving you anything unless you've paid it. So for him, he probably already wired the money. You're not getting money back. You're not getting credit for it. If a week out they all of a sudden drop the price 20%, and it turns out that the market price is going to be like what you had secured your pre-sale stock for. So it's a risky game. It's a risky game. I plan on getting it. It's gonna drop quite a bit. I've seen people list it for, you know, like the Monday after release day. So release is Friday. That Monday, it'll be much less. It's still expensive, but it's going to be much less if I wait till Monday. And chances are, most of these people, like, even if I pre-sale reserved copies to get it on the Friday, they only ship it out Friday, and I wouldn't even have it until Monday or Tuesday at the earliest. You know, it's not like I'm getting it on release day and can post it up and take advantage of the hype and that kind of stuff. I wouldn't get it until a couple days after the actual release, and there are some people out there that will be able to get access to it and actually get it in hand by release day. I don't have that. I don't have those connections yet, put it that way. When I do, I will happily like reserve stuff up front so we can like rip it right away. But especially if I'm not going to stream until Sunday, if I get it in hand on a Friday, I'm not going to stream until Sunday, that doesn't do me any good. So I would have to schedule a special stream. So there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I'm excited for Storm Emeralda. I'm excited to see what the whole set looks like, and you know, how the pricing comes. Yeah, I'm hoping. You know, I'm continuing to, you know, try to stay active in the sellers community, and you know, looking for ways to get to be on the cutting edge, right? You know. So working on those types of things. It's fun for me too, from the business standpoint. Like, those are the behind the scenes type of things I really enjoy. You know, trying to do some of the savvier things to make sure you know, make sure I'm running a good business. You know, I'm not here to rip people off by any means. I'm not like some of those WN streamers. You'll never find me pocketing cards or anything like that. If I wanted to, I'm not rich or wealthy by any means, but if I wanted to, I'll go out and just buy the card myself. It's fun ripping for you guys. It's fun having those exciting moments when you guys have been chasing something and you finally hit it, and you know we're hitting exclusives out of the Chinese product, all that good stuff. So um, I'm really interested to see if we've got any of the exclusive Sylveon SARs in any of the Grand Gathering stuff here. So but yeah, I think between Storm Emerald coming out and then 30th anniversary and having a lot of talk, a lot of hype, increasing around the 30th anniversary, and then people understanding roughly about what it's going to cost to get a hold of it. I think that's really overshadowed a lot of the product that's out there currently. Not everybody's slowing down, but I know a lot of people have seen slowing down. But like I said, I think might slow down, but it's the calm before the storm. I think it's going to pick up massively once the 30th anniversary set comes out, and people will be jumping at it at any chance to get their hands on it. So, but I'll say the Japanese supplier I've worked with for a while, the pre-sale prices he had sent out on the 30th anniversary, I'm like, yeah, I gotta wait you out, my guy. I was like, I cannot. Maybe the prices go up. I mean, if they go up, they go up, but it's crazy expensive. Hits look nice for the 30th, but I really just want that UPC and the rest for Delta Rain after. Yep. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I think there are some cool cards, right, that are unique for the 30th set, the 30th anniversary. I just wasn't really sure what to expect, because if you look at the 25th anniversary, you had the classic collection, and essentially those were like the hits. Like that was it. The classic collection, and that's it. The 30th anniversary, you have a classic collection, which is 30 cards deep. Then you have the futuristic rares with the Mewtwo and the Mew. I think the Pikachus are going to be promos, right? I think the Pikachus are part of the UPC promos. You've got the special SARs for Umbreon and is it Espeon? You know, that are parts of the UPC promos. And then, thank you, so confirmed. And then now they've released that they're doing additional SIRs and additional illustration rares to it, which really in the 25th anniversary, I mean, most of like what you had with that was like these. You had like different variations of the Pikachus. Those were like the other quote unquote hits. You had the V's, the Flying Pikachu, the Surfing Pikachu, the V Maxes of it, and then that was it. You didn't have separate SARs. You had the classic collection stuff, and that was it. So that had led me to the initial potential disappointment, because when they released the classic collection, I looked at it and I'm like, it's like 4 or 5 cards I'd like to have, 3 that I'd like really like to have out of it. I was like, man, if that's it, and the futuristic rares, and that's what they're hanging their hat on, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this set, but so that's gonna be more hyped up for sure. And then since that's come out, I'm sure the general community is even more hyped for it. So it'll be interesting to see. And they've had a long time to prepare for this. It's been a long time since the high demand for Pokemon product. I think Surging Sparks was probably that first set where we found ourselves very close to release paying over MSRP for booster boxes. And then ever since then, Every set has been continuously hyped up and hard to get a hold of, except for Perfect Order, you know. But I think they, like I said, along the lines of being prepared, is that they should have printed a crap ton of this. Like, the whole point of Pokemon and producing the card game and all that kind of stuff is to grow their brand, right? So it does them no good to make something like this more exclusive, because while it might increase demand relative to how much product is available, it behooves the Pokemon Company to be able to have more people, have a wider breadth of people have access to it, so that they can enjoy the hobby, they can stay in the hobby, they are interested, they want to continue to pass it down, they want to share it with the next generation, whether it's like people my age having kids and being able to share that with them and have the nostalgia for ourselves as well. But it doesn't do them much good to be like, oh yeah, we're doing the 30th anniversary set and we're doing a very limited print run on it, so pay up, suckers. I don't think, because of the way it works, right, is Pokemon Company, for the most part, the Pokemon Company doesn't distribute directly to consumers. They deal in two lanes of distribution. They go through distribution that deals with big box stores, and big corporation customers, essentially. So think Walmart, Target. So those are the end, quote unquote, customers to get it. But it goes to a distributor first, and then it goes to Walmart or your Target and all that. I assume it goes through a distributor and then goes to GameStop as well. I don't think GameStop's getting it direct. The only way with Pokemon Company I know of you can get direct is through the vending machines, like the actual Pokemon vending machines, and Pokemon Center. Other than that, it's not coming directly from the Pokemon Company. It's coming from them via a distributor. So then you have other distributors that are like Southern Hobby. Gosh, I'm forgetting the other names. But ones that are like Southern Hobby that distribute to LGSs and online shops and that kind of stuff. So that's a whole separate distribution channel. But Pokemon sells it to them, and then they sell it to the stores, which then the stores sell it to the final end customers. So there's a lot of hands on it first. So the Pokemon Company, it's not sitting here and like, we're gonna make it exclusive, and then we're gonna charge way more for the product, so then distributors have to pay more, or they'll charge more for the product, so distributors will have to pay more, and then shops will have to pay more. Like, that's not how it works. So anyway, mini rant complete. So one day I will be, I'll get an account with distribution, English distribution, that is, and then, we'll be able to hopefully enjoy, set releases and that kind of stuff. I know there's kind of a dance you got to do with when you're a new account, because you're small, you're not necessarily bringing in tons of cash to buy stuff, and they have to prioritize their longer term partners, right? So there'll be some stuff I know I'll have to kind of do an equivalent of paying my dues in order, once I do get an account and all that kind of stuff. But you know, that's one of the goals. One of the goals we'll get to distribution, and then you know, be able to offer more English product, even if it's a channel that maybe I don't get the best pricing on. You know, it's still a goal, obviously, to be able to get it in hand myself directly from the distributor. So until then, we continue grinding here. We'll, when I can, get my hands on some of the English product and rip that for you guys. It's just the thing is it's like I can't get it for much better price than what you guys can get for stuff like ETBs and UPCs for the most part. There are some avenues like you know, when I get some, as I continue to grow and get some greater buying power, I'll have access to better things in business to business deals. So things that would be like ETBs, booster bundles, those sorts of things, and then be able to sell those. It's just right now the minimum order quantity on a lot of those things is just, it's so high. I'm not quite there yet. So, but yeah, hopefully we do some good business around Storm Emeralda and the 30th anniversary set, and you know, that can help catapult us into the fourth quarter of 2026 and into the holidays. So I hope so. So like I mainly got into the starting the business and being more consistent going live after the holiday season. So I was like trying to get some type of presence established. I was first getting Webby established, doing lives on here and all that. Just after Christmas, essentially. So, you know, people were coming off of having to spend a lot of money over Christmas and all that. And then I'm still a nobody, to be self-aware and be realistic. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not even like a speck of lint, because there are so many sellers out there. But I at least have a better following now. What's up, Paige? Welcome in. You know, we've got over 1,000 followers. You know, I get people visiting the profile. I've got way more content out there. I'm more visible, I guess I should say. That's what I'm more visible. I've got more of a presence. So you know, we'll be prepared for the holiday season when that comes. But I think all eyes are kind of focused mostly on 30th anniversary set. And I don't blame people, but it's also, I think people are realistic about the fact that it's not going to be cheap either. So they gotta be diligent with what they spend their collection budget on. What's up, Carlito? What's good, guys? Well, if you appreciate or enjoy more of that gum flapping, for lack of a better term, you know, I've got stuff out on YT. Make sure to head over there. Same name here. Follow us. You know, subscribe. say follow us, follow me. I'm gonna be the only one on the videos. And I pontificate. I give my opinions on kind of the trends, where I see stuff going, how I feel about certain sets, maybe coming out, the newer sets, some of the hot topics that are going on in the Pokemon community, that kind of thing. If you just enjoy hearing other people's perspective. I think I tend to do more of some of the behind the scenes / business aspect ranting here on the lives. I haven't done it as much on the YT content. Just because it's kind of like a stream of consciousness that comes to me. When somebody, I usually kind of riff off of somebody, that maybe they're asking me about a certain set, and then it's a jumping off point. But I'm not usually thinking of it when I go to record videos. Again, I'm trying to figure out, find my voice for the YT content. I'm not one of these people that can just put on a whole full-on facade and just kind of act and put on a whole act and be disingenuous. So I can't put on an act as if I'm just out here kind of being a jerk, and kind of be a villain sort of thing. I know some people do that, or they say things or put stuff out there to kind of more shock people in a way, to kind of get the engagement from that standpoint. I can honestly, I can be kind of vanilla. I'm not gonna lie. There is a lot of stuff going on in the hobby in general that I'm not a big fan of. But I also don't want to make videos that come off like we're just complaining. It's more of just a discussion, in my opinion and my perspective on things. I don't want it to come off. Everybody's going to have their perspective of what it looks like, but my intent is to not come off as I'm complaining about stuff. Because who wants to listen to that? Are you really going to turn on a video to listen to somebody just complain / rant about how annoying it is that we can't find stuff at MSRP and all that? Or I think it's just kind of crazy. I'm sure there are people out there that do it, and maybe a lot of them get views, but speculate. So you're doing something right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've been very fortunate to find a lot of people who still consistently come in, and even people who have been around since the beginning when we first started, that still come in and into the lives and chat for a bit. Chuko and Trembly are two of them that have been here pretty much since day one, just about. Zach has been here for a long... I can't remember the exact time when he came in, but he came in pretty early as well. Some of the stuff, I gotta be honest, is just like a blur. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, the clickbait, right? The 30th is the worst. That's the thing. I mean, it's all... The thumbnails, they're all clickbait. That's all they are, is to make you stop scrolling and at least listen to the first 30 seconds or so. And most of the time, though, if people can tell, okay, your thumbnail was total clickbait, and really what you're going to say and how you're coming off in the beginning of the video is oh, this guy just did that for clickbait, they move on, So I don't know if that gets counted as a view if you haven't actually, if you don't actually click into it and it just kind of comes up on your feed. I don't think that counts as a view. So, people want you to click on it. They want you to obviously watch for as long as possible. But I'm not speaking in hyperbole and making stuff up and being a contrarian to create a stir and that kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe I'm not a fan of conflict, but I mean, I definitely have opinions about stuff that I'm sure other people are not going to agree with. But part of me just doesn't want to make that kind of content where it's like negative, or like intentionally negative to try to create or get a rise out of people. I don't think that's good. I'd rather be a positive impact. What's up, Brandon? Appreciate the follow. I'm trying to be more of a positive impact on the positive influence. Again, not that I have a huge sway of any kind, but if it can help a few other people still continue to enjoy the hobby and not get so caught up in all the drama and BS, then that's kind of my goal. But I also wanted to make sure it comes off as genuine. I watched. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with Opossum Bud, but I was listening to a video. He dropped it almost a week ago now, but I hadn't been watching YT a lot lately. He made a video of, if you guys know who like Coop collects, or he's very popular in the Pokemon world, Pokemon community. He's got like over 1 million subscribers. He's first known for doing, some of the, wholesome content as far as doing like POV type videos when he's vending. I guess he started out as primarily a vendor, doing like card shows and that kind of thing, and a lot of his stuff really got huge. But it kind of sounds like, and I haven't watched the video, but Opossum Bud was like criticizing him because he's starting to come off like a lot of the wholesome type content that he's trying to like create and continue to put out there seems really contrived now. It's like that was his whole brand, and so now it's almost like he's forcing it, so it seems disingenuous. And I get that. Like, I get that's how you reach popularity. But it's just like people say social media is like a highlight reel of people's lives. Well, he's posting a highlight reel essentially of his interactions, right? And that's what brought him notoriety. And so that's the image that people have placed him in and how people view him. And so he feels like he has to continue to make that type of content to stay relevant and stay true to like his fan base or whatever. But it doesn't seem authentic anymore. And I get that. Like, if he's been doing it for years, I mean, how many more times can you record giving a card away or giving a good deal, like a particularly good deal for a collector or something like that, and it be truly heartfelt and wholesome until it starts feeling like it's forced and it's kind of like scripted and that sort of thing, because that's what he's trying to put out there. And like, I think it's good. It's a positive thing. I get where he's coming from, and it's great that he reached such popularity for being on the wholesome side. But now apparently like made a video that essentially is like, I don't know what's going on. All my views on like my content are going down, and I don't know what's happening. Or that's the sense I got, through a third party, right? I didn't go and watch the video directly yet. But the impression that I was given based on Opossum Bud's feed, on his take on the whole thing, if what he was saying about the video is true, I agree that like it's a bad look to go on there and essentially you look like you're just complaining, and you're just complaining to people who are your viewers, like who's your following. And I don't think your following really wants to say like, or really wants to be told that essentially them still supporting you, them watching you isn't enough, that you need more people and more, you know, it gets kind of, it gets into like an ugly area of content creation, right? And his point was like it seems like he's making content to continue to make content as not necessarily a revenue stream, because you don't necessarily get, even with having as many subscribers as he does and getting as many views as he normally would, you're not making necessarily a ton of money off of the ad revenue there. Yeah, there's the gratitude. Yeah, there's the lack of him doing it because he really wants to do it, and it's really like something within him. It now seems like he's it's a chore for him almost. You know, he's got to keep up this facade. You know, he's got to keep up this persona, and it's not just him continuing to do things and be in the Pokemon community because he really enjoys it. And I'm sure you can get burned out. Absolutely. I mean, I think you can get burned out on any type of business, right? You've made it, it's your business, and he's made it his life. You know, he's going to collecticons all over the country. You know, he's expanded from his regional vending, and then he's, you know, doing stuff through, you know, content creation and doing, I think they started like a podcast and that kind of thing. And to be honest, like, I don't really know what the demand for a podcast from him, and I think it's the other guy's called Beard Dad. Like, he did the same type of content where, you know, he filmed himself vending at different conventions or events and that sort of thing, and had, you know, the wholesome vibe and that kind of thing. And then that's why they kind of mesh together. And then it's become a thing where they usually will like vend next to each other or something at these bigger collecticons and that sort of thing. And then it becomes a whole kind of a spectacle, right? They've grown in such popularity, and people are like paying for signatures and meet and greets and all this kind of stuff now, which to me is crazy. Like, you want me to sign something, I'll sign it. I'm not going to charge you for it. But he's got like these Coops had these custom like fan art cards made, and then he's selling them, which is technically illegal if there's any type of Pokemon IP in it. Some of them, what I saw, they did have actual Pokemon in it. You can't sell fan art. You can create fan art, but technically it's copyright infringement to sell fan art. It's different if you get a custom card made, as long as it doesn't utilize the IP and it just is like in the artistic style of it. So, you know, he's walking a real fine line there. I can't believe he was really doing that. That was kind of crazy. I think they maybe shifted away from the one card that he had made and stopped doing that with that one, but he's had a different one made, and like a signed version of it is like $80. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are you charging people for your autograph? I just find it crazy, because even professional athletes that are way more popular, way more notoriety and that kind of stuff, have actually like had major accomplishments in their field, don't charge, or at least don't charge that much for an autograph. And then truly, what's the value? It's the whole, like, to me, it's the Jason Page thing too. Like, Jason Page thinks he can charge $120 for an autograph. adding more outside of the hobby and making it something else. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I'm not particularly a fan on it. I think he's trying to ride that fine line of looking like he's selling out and still staying true to what brought him to where he is now. And I think he's kind of struggling with that, and because of that, he's not really getting the viewership. But also, I think, like, how many times can you look at him posting content of doing like the same exact thing, as far as, okay, he has a kid come up to his table, kids had something unfortunate happen to him, maybe somebody stole his cards at school, or something got damaged, or they lost his collection when they moved or something, and then Coop gives them a card for free or something, or does hooks them up somehow. That's great, but like when it's that same type of thing over and over, and now you're recording it, and we know you're all recording it essentially just to be able to post that kind of stuff, it loses all of its authenticity. And apparently now you have like long lines to be able to come up to his table at when he's vending at events and that kind of thing. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think somebody became a pseudo celebrity for vending Pokemon. Hey, more power to him. Make as much money as you can, while the going's good. But respect the hustle. I just think you start to lose yourself along the way. It doesn't have to be all high and mighty. It's all business, right? We're all trying to make money. At the end of the day, it's capitalist motives. But obviously, I'd love to be able to make a living and doing stuff that I enjoy, and around a hobby that I do enjoy, and holds a big part of my childhood and all that kind of stuff. So easy for me to say, right? Because I've only been doing it on the professional side for 7-ish months. He's been doing it for probably over 5 years. Yeah, the hobby is super crazy right now. So I mean, the key thing is, like, I keep trying to tell myself, because it's easy to get lost in the fray with everything going on. Again, remember why you're doing it. To me, of course, integrity is important, especially like how I treat people and how I operate here. A lot of the craziness that was going on when I started was a lot of people scamming. There's still a lot of that out there, especially now because there's so much more money involved. The value of stuff in the secondary market has gone up so much. That's really bringing in some of the worst people into the hobby. It's just trying to stay the course and then stay consistent. Continue to go. Do our live streams. Try to keep it fresh for you guys. Part of that is getting the new sets in and all that, or maybe doing some other things like singles. Maybe try some like I was mentioning, some lower dollar auction the cards, that kind of things. I'm talking like much lower value, nothing crazy. But to try to add, do something a little different, keep you guys entertained. After all, a lot of this is entertainment. Part of it's the hobby, right? Having the actual collecting of the cards, and then streaming and all that. Yeah, I mean, I was looking into auctions because of trying to find a way. Like right now, things have been just generally slower the last couple weeks, and find something that one might bring in some new people to see us. It might kick us up in the algorithm. you know, might get us more exposure amongst the community and that kind of thing, and everybody out there. So I'm trying to think of ways to do that. I still need to look into how I set that up, right? So I can run them, because I'm trying to figure out. At least initially, it didn't look like I could have auctions like available to run and have my normal shop. They call it like the buy now shop as opposed to auctions, right? Um, I gotta stop doing the air quotes. I've done air quotes way too many times today. Um, but yeah, that's where we are. The auctions are hit, you could do certain days. Auctions only, yeah, exactly. Or I might do, yeah, I'll do like a run of, okay, 30 minutes. We'll do 30 minutes of auctions, or I'll have like a set amount of cards, you know, a set, a preset, you know, stack. Like I've got some to the side here, right? It's like, okay, we'll go through all these cards, and then once the auctions are done, then auctions are done for the day, and then we're just doing, you know, sealed product the rest of the day. Yeah, that's certainly, that's something I have I've pondered for sure. Or maybe I do like one of the days that I'm not streaming already, and just do like, hey, we're just today, you know, do it as an, okay, no more air quotes. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm stuck in with air quotes today. You know, and do like, okay, today's an auction only day. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know if I'll add any more days to streaming right now, especially, you know, how the current, how stuff's gone the last few days. Of course, if things get busier, then, you know, I'll look into changes. But right now, adding another day, the opportunity cost of still maintaining not even what I would call a social life, just maintaining a life outside of my 9 to 5, the gym, and streaming here. So I can be able to do some things on weekdays if I need to, you know, run some errands or do that sort of thing. So, all right, guys, I have yapped for quite a bit here. Again, if that's something, if you've enjoyed it and you're okay with that kind of stuff, or you know, you just popped it on and have it going in the background, awesome. Check out my YT channel. Got more stuff, more snippets of me yapping, sharing my opinions and perspectives on Pokemon stuff. So feel free to check us out there. Make sure you subscribe. Trying to build up our presence there as well. We do go live via the YT as well. You know, so subscribership would help. You know, help us get us into the algorithm over there as well. So we appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and close her up for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, roughly 8 to 8:30ish. Like I said, I got to coach a class, so I got to figure out. Hopefully, everything goes well, and I stay on track after that to get back on here. Good night, Silk. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Appreciate everybody here listening, following, shares, reposts, likes, all that. And again, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.